Here we are again, folks, at the Warrior of Compassion studio doing practical spirituality. What's practical spirituality? Let me tell you. It's a type of spirituality that you use to get yourself free from the illusions that a lot of greedy people of today are trying to force onto us, to keep us afraid, to keep us ignorant, to keep us divided so we can be conquered, to keep us asleep, you see. There was actually a stupid person down in Florida who wrote something and bragged about it. He said, this is the place where woke comes to die. Now just think about that and how ignorant one would have to be to applaud when somebody said that this is the place where being aware, enlightened, and awake dies. But people clapped because they weren't aware of the truth. They weren't aware of the way they had been trapped in a system now that makes them put all of their energy and power into it and not get anything out of it. They're not aware of a system where most of the people, the ones who are at the top and in power, got that way because they, at some times, decided to turn their head, not see what was happening, and go along with the program. And that is the problem that we face here nowadays. Church, state, social media, government, and even our families want to try to get us to go back to sleep. But it's too late for that now, isn't it? Because of social media, the internet, and conversations with people we don't usually talk with, we begin to see the truth. We begin to understand that what connects all of us together on this earth, and especially in this country, is not our strength and our power, but our vulnerabilities. And these vulnerabilities are being taken advantage of. Every time we all begin to work together in order to create a better world, we have the super deflector step in. As soon as we begin to realize that there are a group of people who don't really care about us at all, and who are only interested in making as much money as they can, they will deflect that knowledge. They'll say that our poverty and suffering comes from immigrants, or black people, or Jewish people, or poor white people. They'll get us fighting and struggling against each other. And then in the religions, to back this up, they will tell us that we are evil, worthless sinners, and bad things are happening to us because we're evil, and if we do good, we'll have power, we'll have money, we'll be able to live lives. We should be able to do that anyway, because the world that we live in, you see, is a world of abundance, not scarcity. The only scarcity that exists because right now about 1% of the people own 90% of the goods and they cling to them. So all of us are scrapping to fight to get our little piece of 10%. And some people scrapping think that if they cozy up to and kiss up to the people at top, they'll get a little bit more than the others. So this is a war going on between those who love and who want to work in a partnership way and who want to live in the real world of abundance and justice versus those who are asleep, narrow-minded, and who find joy and pleasure in hating. Those who aren't willing to face their fears. And those are the ones that are trying to take over the whole nation right now. The question is, what are we going to do about it? The question is, what can we do about it? Well, if you're a religious person, one thing you can do is to look at the central teachings of your religion, the ones that came from the main teacher in your religion, and then look at all the rest and throw them out, because most of them were shaped by the powerful group who put together all the scripture and decided what went in and what went out based on their idea of the way things should be. And it's the same about the education system and now the media. It is time for us to reclaim our power as words of compassion, to be our true selves, to work to make a better world, to draw on our strengths and our powers and know that our feelings of empathy and compassion for those who are less fortunate, they're not weaknesses, but are our strength. And when we do that, we will realize, you see, that we, the people, are one, and that many of these borders placed around us are not there to protect us or to keep people out, but to keep people in. A long time ago, they had something called feudal systems all over Europe. Basically, the lord would own the land, and the people came with the land. Just like the animals, the plants, and all of that. The people were serfs. They were less than the lords, or the nobility as they called themselves. They were less than human. And the way that the Lord kept his power was by having borders around, because if people left, then he'd just have land. And so the Lord would go out and start fights with the neighboring fiefdoms and kingdoms in order to keep them fighting. He'd make up all kinds of stories about the people over the hill, saying they were evil and useless and no good, and all of this was done in order to keep his people afraid and working, barely making a living, trying to find creative ways to find joy in a world of abundance, when this Lord would be taking most of the goods that they grew and most of the animals, and many of them weren't even allowed to hunt on their own land, because all of the animals on the land, you see, belong to the king. It hasn't changed much, except nowadays the lords are called senators or CEOs, presidents, all of those people in power, employers. But it hasn't changed, only the name has changed, and now instead of giving them food, we're giving them currency, money, paying to live, paying for our food, paying for our water, paying to stay warm, paying taxes on our land, paying taxes on our property, paying taxes on our car through the registration, paying taxes on the internet, paying taxes on our telephones even after we buy them, and making a monthly payment for the rest of our lives. We are like the serfs. So this is something that we all need to consider now. A few people have climbed up to the top. They've worked hard. They've saved a lot. They have a lot of money, and they think that they are nobility now, better than everyone else. But truth is, they are very expendable. And if they're not in that inside group, as soon as they do something that displeases that group, they'll be right down here with us. So in that case, they are not free either. Time to free ourselves. The first step to freeing oneself is to free oneself on the inside, to break the bonds that hold us in check. All of those thoughts and ideas planted within us and all of that social conditioning that has been applied to us to make it so that we can't think clearly, so that we make the decisions that we have been programmed to make, so that we will go along with our programming without questioning, because we'll really believe that we have thought through all of the things presented to us and come up with an answer when we have actually been programmed to respond in a certain way to certain words. And that programming means that a certain thought comes up, and as soon as we grasp that thought, we behave the way we've been programmed to do. This is just a little example of our programming. When I say China, what pops up? When I say Russia, what pops up? When I say Mexico, what pops up? When I say Canada, what pops up? Or Switzerland. If some thought or feeling pops up for all of these countries, and you've never been to them, but you have strong feelings about them and you think you know about them, that's because you have been conditioned and behavior modified to think so. And that is the most fearful thing for us to face. So spirituality means breaking through that. Being woke means working inside, using the light of wisdom and awareness on the inside of ourselves to see what darkness, what fear, what treachery and manipulation is inside, so that we can cleanse that. And then, once we use the light of awareness on the inside, we can turn it on to the outside and work to create a better world for ourselves, our families, our communities, for everyone. But first comes turning the light of awareness on the inside. There are many techniques for that. Just sitting quietly, meditating, watching the thoughts and ideas and images that just start pouring up as soon as you sit and relax and breathe, and just watching them without judging them and letting them go. That's it. Becoming aware. And we do this until we realize, you see, that we are not those thoughts, we are not those ideas. We are the awareness, the pure awareness that resides in each of us. We are the consciousness of the universe realizing itself. When we realize this, who we are, and reclaim our identity, none of the manipulation will work. And then we'll be free and fully human and divine. So on the ongoing videos, we'll be talking about this again, and we'll be talking about ways to make this happen through meditation, contemplation, Tai Chi, Qigong exercises, many different ways to break us free from the conditioning that we've all received. Living in a world where power over is more important than power within oneself or power with one's community to build, not power to go and attack another group and force them to behave the way we want. No. But using the power with to make a better world for all of us. Stay tuned. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the bell below. And you will be notified next time when we put a video up. And if you search our channel, you can find many different forms of chants and meditations and messages that will help you move beyond the conditioning, the behavior modification that is being applied to us constantly. Moving beyond that to the reclaiming of the true self. And that, my friends, is what we came into this earth to do. Namaste, everyone.